Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fujaina Fitri. I'm from class 2019 B3. And here, I want to explain about interpreting. First, definition of interpreting. Interpreting is an activity of changing different languages from the source language to the target language, or an activity that consists of establishing oral or manual communication between two or more speakers who are not speaking the same language. A person who translates one language into another is called interpreter, because they are explaining what a person is saying to someone who doesn't understand. The role of the interpreter is to help establish direct communication between the professional, like social worker, healthcare professional, lawyer, and the person with limited English proficiency. For the communication to be truly direct, the interpreter serves strictly as a communication conduit, always interpreting in the first person. Interpreters strive to render all messages in their entirety accurately, as faithfully as possible, and to the best of their ability, without addition, distortion, omission, or embellishment of the meaning. Second, historical of interpreting. The first written proof of interpreting dates back to 3000 before Christ, at which time the ancient Egyptians had a hieroglyphic signifying interpreter. The next widely known use of interpreting occurred in ancient Greece and Rome. For both the ancient Greeks and Romans, learning the language of the people that they conquered was considered very undignified. Furthermore, during this era and up until the 17th century, Latin was the lingua franca, or the language of diplomacy in Europe, and therefore all nations had to have some citizens who spoke Latin in order to carry on diplomatic relations. Throughout the centuries, interpreting became more and more widely spread due to a number of factors: religion, age of exploration, International Labour Conference in Geneva, Switzerland in 1927. The third, types of interpreting. I will explain two kinds of interpreting. First, conference interpreting. Conference interpreting is a professional language and communication expert who, at multilingual meetings, conveys the meaning of a speaker's message orally and in another language to listeners who would not otherwise understand. Second, license interpreting. License interpreting is the genre of interpreting where the interpreting is performed in two language directions by the same person. License interpreting is widely used where two or more interlocutors do not share a language, and where the interpreter must be present in order to bridge the communication gap. And now, the differences between conference interpreting and license interpreting. Conference interpreting, used in formal situations for big events such as conventions, congresses, and conferences. The interpreter uses a booth that is soundproof. They use microphones or headphones to interpret messages, and heard by a large public and attended by many audience. License interpreting, used in informal situations such as meetings, receptions, business lunches, or dinners, and others. The interpreters doesn't need any technical devices. They are part of the group. The interpreter is in direct contact with the group of the people. That's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.